What's your financial goal?
You want more money? Turn what you know into dough. Start hanging out with the people who have it. You create wealth on your own terms. It is not only your rights, but your duty to build wealth.
You are fiscally fabulous.
It's time to enjoy your legacy.
You're listening to Fiscally Fabulous with Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire, a podcast that aims to provide you with the tools, guidance, and encouragement you need to build your wealth, enjoy your wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. Dr. Martin is an accomplished attorney, speaker, business consultant, and real estate strategist, an all-around self-made success who provides highly sought-after expert consulting in the creation, growth, and maintenance of generational wealth.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire, my name is Christy Bartels, and you're listening to Fiscally Fabulous. Investing in real estate can be incredibly lucrative if done with proper, advanced planning. And we each may have a different reason for wanting to invest, whether that be appreciation, where the property increases in value due to changes in the real estate market. Cash flow, like an apartment where you can collect rent from your tenants, or taking advantage of the tax benefits, like those lower capital gains tax rates, to name a few. When done properly, investing in real estate can provide you with much-needed financial freedom and security over the long haul. But before you go signing your name on that dotted line, you might want to consider these common mistakes many investors make. In this episode, we'll examine these mistakes and explore the steps you can take to avoid them and ensure a successful venture into real estate investment. Research. The first step to protecting yourself from a bad investment is doing thorough research. Failing to do so properly is the biggest mistake new investors make. Think about how much time we spend online researching to find the right resort for our vacation or that new flat screen we want to hang on the wall so we can have that cinematic experience in our home. In both cases, you could be looking at costs well into $1,000. Well, real estate can have costs that reach $100,000 and higher. If you're willing to put in the research to find the right TV for $1,000 or less, you definitely need to be doing so when it comes to your real estate investments. What does good research in this area look like? Well, simply put, first, you need to know as much as you can about the town or city the property is located in. Get in your car and drive around the area. Make note of access routes and traffic flow. Is there an adequate town center? Public transportation, and so on. All of these can have an impact on the property's value. You can run a sales comparison using sites like Zillow to see what properties, similar to ones you're interested in, have sold for. If you know how much properties are worth, you'll be in a better position to gauge its value. If you're looking to rent out your property, you'll definitely want to know market rent potential. Any good realtor should be able to provide you with this data. And you'll want to be sure you know all your costs. Have your realtor advise you of all the current expenses of the property, including property taxes, utilities, and insurance. Of course, you'll want to make sure to examine the permit data. You don't want to find yourself down the rabbit hole of an investment only to find that the new roof was installed without a permit. Give yourself the peace of mind knowing that you're negotiating with an honest seller by making a trip to the local government administrative building and ask to see permits for property in question. I realize most of us probably loathe going to government offices. Those waits at the DMV are enough to scare me out of any government building for the rest of my life.
Now serving 848 at window number 33.
But it will all have been worth it when the deal goes through. You've done your homework, and you can pocket the rewards from your investment for years to come. And I know this can be very tempting, but please don't put all your eggs in one basket by getting locked into the idea that this one particular property is the end-all be-all. Be open to other options and take time to evaluate them. Financing. So many newcomers to investing make the crucial mistake of having inadequate financing. Nothing in life is free, and that's true with real estate investments too. You know the old saying, you gotta spend money to make money? Much like a multi-tiered cake, financing such an investment can often bring a number of layers that can become confusing, especially if you're new to the market. Balloon payments, interest-only payments, owner financing, subject to are all common to encounter when investing in real estate. Adequate financing is critical to a successful real estate investment, and don't be fooled by a great price on the property up front. If the financing you've set up for it proves inadequate, in the end, it won't matter how great the sticker price is. It's something to consider. Take balloon payments, for example. These are large payments due at the end of a balloon loan, like a mortgage, typically intended for a short term. Now, knowing that property values can change over time, if you're unfortunate enough to be saddled with a property in a falling market, you might find your ability to make those balloon payments in serious jeopardy. So, your poor financing decisions on the front end could end up causing you significant financial injury. Before you sign that dotted line, make sure your finances are in order. And what, might you ask, is there to help you with all of this? Building your team. I'd like you to keep something in mind as you consider investing in real estate. As with most anything in life, chances that you'll succeed on your own are slim. Let's face it, we're only human and we often need help. And especially when we're talking about important decisions such as your investments, it is to your benefit, and more specifically, to your financial well-being in the long run, that you put together a team which should at least include your real estate agent, your attorney, title company, inspector, handyman, and insurance agent. These individuals have decades of knowledge between them and can guide you through this intricate process, helping you to avoid pitfalls, unnecessary delays, legal troubles, and so on. But don't forget to follow rule number 1 and do your research. And this is especially crucial when it comes to your inspector. Just imagine you've found what you believe to be the perfect property. You've got your financing and all your paperwork in order, and all you need is to have the inspector come to give it a thorough and detailed inspection before you sign on the dotted line. Relieved, your inspector gives it the all clear. No major issues are found, no structural damage, no infestations, no mold. You are ready to move in or ready to open your new property to your tenants. But only a few months in, a major problem is discovered that has you stressed, maybe panicked and scratching your head wondering, how did my inspector miss this? It could be a faulty pipe, or a sinking foundation, or any list of things that were missed. It's a nightmare that any property owner would be desperate to avoid. Just ask Heather Ronayne, an investment operations manager at a wealth management firm who was featured in a 2015 U.S. News article. In it, she recalls hiring someone she believed to be a competent inspector. But several years after moving into her home, she began to seriously question the inspector's competence. The electricity box, she would need to have it completely rewired before selling the home. The windows and doors did not properly keep out the cold air. The dishwasher had been improperly rigged to the kitchen sink, and on and on. Or take the case of Ron and Jenna that appeared in a 2018 article on yourfloridahomeforsale.com by Catherine Gomez. It reads, and I quote, Ron and Jenna were happily married and planning on upgrading to their second new home. After a long search, they found it, so they thought. A super bright and colorful kitchen, open living and dining areas, 3 bathrooms, high ceilings, a fireplace, and even a covered porch made the home seem absolutely perfect. They were especially thrilled that the price was only $135,000. That kind of price is a steal. They signed the contract and were in the house a little more than a month later. Less than 6 months later, the horror story began to unfold. Jenna was cleaning one of the bathrooms, and when she noticed tiny little ants with wings. Following Ron's advice, she called the exterminator. When he arrived, he delivered the first blow. These winged ants were actually termites. The exterminator went under the house to assess the damage. Not only did he find that the floor under the bathroom was completely infested, but also the other 2 bathrooms and spreading to more of the house. The grand total to repair this problem came to over $12,000. That's an unbelievable amount of money to unexpectedly invest in a house that you've only lived in for less than 6 months. Now let's think about this for a moment. In this scenario, we're simply talking about a $12,000 repair for a single-family home. Now imagine if you had invested in a residential complex of some kind with anywhere from 100 to 300 tenants, and after only 6 months of ownership, you find out the pipes end up busting for half of those tenants because the inspector failed to catch or report the problem. As you probably already guessed, we're talking well above $12,000 in this particular scenario. So what's a potential real estate investor to do in these situations? Well, for one, while it may be tempting to leave the inspector to do his or her job on their own, it is to your benefit, whenever possible, that you accompany the inspector during the inspection. The inspector can show you little quirks about the home that you might not have noticed otherwise. They can show you if any previous damage had occurred and what was done to repair it, or spots that may need maintenance in the future. With such a huge purchase you're committing yourself to, it's to your benefit to be fully involved in the process. You also want to be sure that your inspector is licensed in the state where the property is located. And if an inspector does tell you everything is fine, just be sure you've asked any and all questions necessary. After all, they are only human, and there's always the possibility that they've missed something. Paying too much. Have you ever made a spur-of-the-moment purchase only to regret it weeks, days, or maybe even hours later? Of course, right? We all have. Now, it's one thing to regret having purchased, say, that new blouse or pair of sunglasses or what have you. Depending on where you've bought it from, a purchase like that might only set you back as little as $20 to $50. But imagine something as costly as a property investment. This kind of purchasing regret can stay with you for decades. I know we've all had those moments in life where we wind up paying way more than we should have for something, all because our desire to have this item or service was so great at that time. And every once in a while, we come to find it was worth the extra cost. But often, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, you walk away from the purchase wondering, wait, oh my God, why did I just buy this? Those impulse buys, purchases under the influence of emotion, while they are of little consequence for small, insignificant purchases, they can provide disastrous results when it comes to investing. Your heart may be willing to pay those few extra thousands of dollars to snatch up that dream property you've had your eye on, but be sure to listen to your head, or better yet, your team of experts you've no doubt put together by this point, to gain a little perspective. If you overpay to seal the deal and months down the road you encounter rising repair costs, then you run a high risk of not getting any money back when you turn to sell the property later on. So do your homework here. Stick to your numbers and you can avoid a financial disaster. Again, I can't stress enough the importance of rule number 1, research. Not estimating expenses accurately. Another reason why you want to be sure you get your property at the right price? When you look to invest in real estate, you'll have to consider the cost of repairs at some point. While one expert over here claims these repairs will run you $10,000, you're pretty confident you can get them done for $6,000. But in reality, you're both wrong, and it will end up costing you $15,000. Did you remember to consider this when you were looking to invest? A big mistake many newcomers to real estate investing make is not estimating their expenses accurately. Sure, you've been focused on the price of the property itself, but in all the back and forth negotiating, did you remember to factor in the cost of landscaping, utilities, property taxes, and the installation of new appliances? These costs can add up real fast. So, that sweet deal you think you're getting, you didn't get it. The seller did, and left you a sink in a money pit. So do yourself a favor and be realistic with your repair planning and keep track of all possible expenses. So now you know the common mistakes to avoid when investing in real estate. You can be a successful real estate investor if you do your research, put together a team of experts, know the property's market potential, be aware of all your potential costs and fees, secure the proper financing, and ensure that your permits are up to date. And I can't stress enough how important it is to do your research. In so many ways, the success or failure of all aspects of the investment process hinge upon you doing homework and due diligence. So if you take one nugget of valuable information from this, that would be it. So what are you waiting for? Get started today by crafting a well-researched plan to invest in real estate and begin building your wealth. Thank you for listening, everyone. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast or visit us at www.enjoyyourlegacy.com/Fiscally Fabulous Podcast to learn more. On behalf of Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire, I'm Christy Bartels, reminding you to enjoy your legacy because you are fiscally fabulous.
This has been Fiscally Fabulous with Dr. Teresa R. Martin, Esquire. If you would like to learn more on how you can build generational wealth and leave a lasting legacy, go to www.enjoyyourlegacy.com and be sure to subscribe. Thank you for listening. Until next time.